Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In the previous videos, in several of the previous videos, we discussed Hajj or pilgrimage in the Torah. We obviously talked about it in the Quran, and then we mentioned that Prophet Moses, Harun, and the Israelites also performed Hajj in its actual original place, what is known today as Petra, Jordan. But back in the day, at the time of the Moses, it was known as Kadesh. Kadesh basically is the same as Quds. It's the Hebrew version of the word Quds. Means a holy sanctuary. That's what it is. And the city of Kadesh, later on, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, it was known as the city of Mecca, and the valley in it where Al-Masjid al-Haram, or the sacred mosque, is located, is known as, obviously, the valley of Bakkah. So today, I want to show to you from the Bible, from the book of Psalm, that even at the time of the prophet David, as of the time of the prophet David, the Israelites were performing Hajj, were making the trip to the city of Kadesh, also known as Petra, also known as Mecca, to perform Hajj in the house of the Lord. So stay with me, and I am sure that if you're truly seeking the truth, you will enjoy this video. So without further ado, let's get started with Psalm 84. It says, "How lovely is your dwelling place." So I'm gonna show this to you. So dwelling place. So what does dwelling place mean? So anything that you see has parentheses. So this is my addition. So dwelling place here means your house, which is Kaaba. Okay? O Lord of hosts, my soul longs, yes, faints for the courts of the Lord. So again, this when it's talking about the courts of the Lord. If you're familiar with what the courts used to look like, you know, they used to have like a front yard and this huge backyard. And that's exactly what the house of the Lord has. It has the front yard. Within the front yard, you have the Safa, you have the Marwa, and then in the backyard, you have the Arafat, where people go. It's a huge backyard. Then it says, even the sparrow finds a home, and the swallow a nest for herself. So this is really interesting, talking about the sparrow and the swallow finding a nest for herself. It's obviously, if you know the story, the whole story behind Safa and Marwa is because of Hagar, and the fact that kind of like a bird, Hagar, who was the second wife of Prophet Abraham, found a place of residence, a shelter, a refuge for herself and her son Ishmael right beside the house of the Lord. And that is what this verse is talking about. So even the sparrow finds a home, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she, which is referring to Hagar, may lay her young, which is obviously referring to Prophet Ishmael. Add your altars. So again, this is a hint at the Safa and Marwa. Now, I also wanted to share with you the Hebrew word that is used here. So the place of residence that I shared with you, the Hebrew word used for it is Mishkan. So it's in Arabic, it's maskan. Quran actually uses it a lot. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي سَبَعٍ فِي مَسْكَنِهِمْ آيَةٌ. So in Hebrew, it's the same, but they pronounce se in current day Hebrew. So they pronounce it as she. So they call it Mishkan as opposed to Meskan. In Farsi, actually, the same word is being used as maskan. Maskan means place of residence. So why do you call it a place of residence? Obviously, maskan, or a place of residence, is somewhere where you live. So it's a house. So you call somebody's house as their maskan, or their place of residence. And then the next Hebrew word that I wanted to share with you is chatzar, which is basically referring to the courts of the Lord, which I explained what the courts is. But I just wanted to share with you the Hebrew words that are also being used. The rest of Psalm 84 is even more interesting. It says, "Blessed are those whose strength is in you, in whose heart are the highways to Zion, as they go through the valley of Bakkah," which is Bakkah or Kadesh. So again, you see here, Prophet David is making it very clear for all the true believers, all the Israelites. So it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, if you're a Jew, it doesn't matter. It's making it very clear that he's talking about Valley of Bakkah. He's talking about Bakkah Valley. He's not talking about the Temple of Solomon. Also, I want you to be oriented. At this point, Temple of Solomon has not been built yet. There is no Temple of Solomon yet. So don't get confused. None of these verses are about the Temple of Solomon. It has not been built yet. In fact, if you are familiar with the Bible, you know that Prophet David was asking the Lord to give him permission to construct the temple. However, Allah or Yahweh did not give him the permission or go ahead to do so. He said, "You will not build my temple. However, your son will build it for me." One of the reasons of this is my belief. This is not in the Bible, but I believe one of the reasons why Allah or Yahweh did not allow or give permission to Prophet David to build the temple was because he didn't want to be any confusion. Imagine if Prophet David had built the temple, all these verses, they would be very confusing for a true believers 3,000 years later to determine what these verses are about. It would have been very difficult for me to determine that right now and to tell you. But because Allah did not allow Prophet David to build the temple, we know 100%, no doubt whatsoever, that Valley of Bakkah here is referring to the Bakkah Valley in current-day Jordan in Petra. So once again, let's read this together. As they go through the Valley of Bakkah, they make it a place of springs. It's springs and water. What is it? It's symbolic of knowledge, purity that is coming out. And it will come out of that place. I made a video about the prophecy in the book of Daniel about the Jordan in biblical prophecy. Please watch that. Again, it doesn't matter if you're Jew, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim. You have to know that Daniel nailed it, pinpointed the holy sanctuary at the end time to Jordan. So, and I made a video about that. It's available. I put the link down there in the description so you can watch it. Then it says, "O Lord, God of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O God of Jacob. Behold our shield, O God. Look on the face of your anointed, your Messiah." It says, "For a day in your courts." It says, "A day in your courts." What is it talking about? I showed you the word of the courts, talking about Al-Masjid al-Haram, in that right after the gate, from the gate to Arafat. It says, "A day in the court of Allah in Al-Masjid al-Haram." Where? In the Valley of Bakkah, in Jordan, in Petra, what is known today as Petra. It says, "A day over there is better than 1,000 elsewhere." 1,000. So the ratio is basically 1 day over there is better, is greater than 1,000 days elsewhere. And then Prophet David tells us in the book of Psalms that I would rather be a gatekeeper in the house of my God, in the Beit, in in the Beit Elohim, in the house of Allah, than dwell in the tents of wickedness. So remember, I highlighted the gatekeeper here so you know. Again, you see the book of Psalm is very accurate. It's giving us the address. Bible is a map. If you understand the Bible, Bible is really just a living map. It just maps you. It lays out the map of the Holy Land for you and all these holy sites in there. So Bible is technically a map. And as you can see, it's actually giving us the address. Where is the address? Valley of Bakkah. And it also tells you that within the Valley of Bakkah, there is a gate. There is a gate that leads you to the house of Allah, to the house of Elohim. And it actually even is telling you that it was customary, it was tradition that people would volunteer to be gatekeepers over there. So it was an honor, honorous, it was a prestigious position that people like Prophet David, they would volunteer, even though he was a king, he would volunteer to be a gatekeeper at the house of the Lord. This was obviously a very prestigious position that you had to probably be of good integrity, good family, and all those things to be able to be actually a gatekeeper at the house of the Lord. And probably during the Hajj season, it was even more prestigious if you could get that position and be gatekeeper over there at the house of the Lord. And then so I'm not going to read the rest of this. You can obviously stop this video. You can read those and you can read it yourself. So now let's look at some of the Hebrew meaning of some of these words that we just looked at. I just want you to see the Hebrew version so you're 100% sure. I don't want the devil to take control of your heart and cast doubt in it, okay? Okay, this is 84:4. Again, blessed are they who dwell in thy house. Basically, the word used here is bait. So this is bait means house. Bait Yahovah. Bait Elohim. This is house of our Lord. So again, you see Allah uses the word bait here as well. Just like the Quran. Quran says Baitullah as well. And the Baytikal Muharram, right beside your forbidden, your sacred house. That's what Quran says. And this is Baka. It says Ovrei Emek. Emek means obviously a valley. Baka is the valley of Baka. So through the valley of Baka. I just want you to see this as well, to see that in Hebrew, this word is Baka. I'm not making these up. Then that's exactly what Quran tells us. So this is in Arabic. If I want to write it in Arabic, it becomes like this, Bakkah, right? So excuse my handwriting. My handwriting is not good. I'm going to write it here. So this is Bakkah. So this is the Arabic version of it. This is the Hebrew version of it. They are the exact same. Also remember the original Hebrew at the time of the Prophet David. Original Hebrew is very guttural, very similar to current Arabic. As opposed to the current Hebrew. Current Hebrew, because it has gone through German, Europe, Spain, so many places, is not close. The pronunciations are not close to the original ones. In fact, the best Hebrew that you can hear is Yemeni Hebrew, which is is much closer to the original Hebrew. But original Hebrew was sounded very similar to Arabic. And then again, in 84:10, as you can see, it says a day in your courts is better than 1,000. And then it says, I'd rather be a gatekeeper in the house of the Lord. And again, you can see the word used here is bait, a gatekeeper in the house of Allah. And this is where it is rather be a doorkeeper or gatekeeper in the house of Elohim. And the word is used is bait Elohim. It's Beit Elohim. says Beveit Elohim. Elohim. So Elohe. So it's basically the house of my Lord, my Elohim, my God, house of Allah. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And again, I have said it before. I'm gonna say this. These are the exact same religions. It's just they had Prophet David is practicing what Prophet Muhammad was practicing later on. It's not just the exact same. Now let's look at Psalm 26 together. It says, "I'll wash my hands in innocence and go around or encircle." When you go around someone, you're encircling, you're performing tawaf. That's what it means. Go around your altar, oh Lord, proclaiming. So while I'm going around, while I am performing tawaf, what am I doing? I'm proclaiming thanksgiving aloud. I'm praising you aloud and telling all your wondrous deeds. So basically, what am I doing while I'm performing tawaf around your house? I'm glorifying and praising Allah and His wondrous works, O Creator of the heavens and the earth. All praise and glory be to you for your majestic creation, for all you have done, for you created us and you provided for us. You gave us eyes, you gave us ears, you gave us hearts to understand. So you glorify and you praise your Creator while performing tawaf. And right after that it says, "Oh Lord, I love the habitation of your house, house of Allah, and the place where your glory dwells." Again, as you can see, Prophet David could not make it any clearer than this psalm is about the true Masjid al-Haram in Bakkah and performing Hajj in it by and performing Tawaf. One more thing I wanted to mention that I put over there is that you have to remember Prophet David had full control. There was a full alliance with the Edomites. So he had not occupied Edom. It was forbidden for the Israelites because it was the Edomites were their brothers. However, they were in alliance, in full alliance with the Edomites back then. Once again, I wanted to share with you at 26:8. Again, it's the word bait that is used in Hebrew. And 26:6, I wanted to share this with you as well. The word used is sabab. So sabab means it's a primitive root to revolve, to surround, to border. So basically, I revolve, I go around, I revolve around your altar. It's the same thing. So what do we call this in Arabic? We call this tawaf. So it's the exact same equivalent to the exact same word. And again, just so you know, I want you to be 100% sure. I'm worried the devil might cast doubt into your hearts. That's why I want to make sure that you understand. This is again from the dictionary, Hebrew Word Study Dictionary. What does that word mean? Sabab means to turn around, go about, go around something, encircle something, surround something. To march or walk around something, to go partly around something, circle about something, make a circuit around it, surround it. So again, I could not. What is this? This is in Arabic. This is the exact same thing. It's tawaf. The word that is used means the same thing as tawaf. So Prophet David is saying that he's going to perform tawaf, go in circle, go around the house of Allah. And that's exactly what the true believers do because he learned it from his fathers. And that's what the Jews at his time were doing from the time of Moses. Remember, Moses learned it from Jethro or Shu'aib, who was Allah's messenger, the priest of Midian. And then Moses and Harun taught it to Israelites. And that's a religious duty on all Jews, Christians, and Muslims. They have to do it once in their lifetime. And this is Psalm 42 I want to read for you. It says, my soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God. So what is it talking about? It's talking about going to the house of the Lord in Petra, Jordan, and appear before the Lord in his house. Then it says, these things I remember as I pour out my soul. Basically, as I'm weeping, as I'm crying, as I'm reminiscing. This is what I remember. And I want you to read this part carefully. It says, how I would cross over with the crowd. So the word used here in Hebrew means when you cross over a place, a boundary. It says, how I used to cross over together with the crowd. So he's talking about multiple people, huge gathering and group of people together with Prophet David. They used to cross over. And then the prophet David says that he would lead them in procession to the house of God with glad shouts and songs of praise. Then it says a multitude of those performing Hajj. So if you read the current day, if you open up your Bible and read it, it has been wrongly translated as those keeping festival or feast. That's not correct. The actual word I'm going to share, the Hebrew word is hojaj. Basically hojaj. That's what hojaj means in Arabic. G is G. In Egyptians, I've mentioned that before, they pronounce G as ge. So it's hogeg, hogog. Whereas in Arabic it's hojaj. So it's the same. It means hojaj means those who are performing Hajj. So that I'll show you the Arabic version of that. So that this verse, this little piece here alone is telling you this obviously was happening during the forbidden haram months. During that last 4 months of the year, there was no war. There was complete ceasefire. So Prophet David as a king here, going in peace. There's no war in the region anymore. Everyone used to be in peace. This was a very important truth that they had that existed in that region up until the time of the Umayyad, the worshippers of the devil. The devil worshippers, the Umayyad devil worshippers, the Mushrikeen that right now exist as well as Sunni Shia. These are the first people who violated that destroyed that 4 months of peace. So it used to always exist. These followers of Akbar, the devil, those whose Allah is Akbar. So they worship Akbar. They destroyed it for us. Remember, these are worshippers of the devil. That's why they destroyed the tradition that existed in that region for thousands of years. So Prophet David is going with the multitude of those performing Hajj and crossing over from Israel to Jordan. That's why it says cross over from Israel to Jordan, and they were singing songs of praise and glad shouts, and they would go and perform Hajj over there. Then it says, why are you cast down? And then I am not going to read that whole thing for the sake of time, but we come here, it says, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore, I remember you from the land of Jordan. So again, this is why here it says crossing over, because crossing over from where? From Israel to Jordan, to the land of Jordan, to perform Hajj, to appear before Allah, to appear before Elohim, before Yahweh, before our Creator. It doesn't matter what you call him. And these were happening during the 4 months of Hajj that were forbidden. All the wars had ceased. There was true ceasefire. Last 4 months of the year, which what are year? They're months number 9, 10, 11, 12, and then spring starts, right? After that, the wars would resume at that time as well. Okay, now let me share with you the Hebrew words. For 42:4, again, the word used in Hebrew is abar. So what does that mean? Again, I mentioned that means cross over. This is important because it's saying that it's not using any word. Prophet David is using the word eber. It means I'm crossing over to where? To Jordan, crossing over from the border of Jordan and Israel. I mentioned that about Hujjaj, the multitude of those performing pilgrimage, and this is the verse 42:4, and I want you to see this so you don't think I'm making this up. So this is how it says, with a multitude that kept holiday. This is how they changed the word of Allah. Most of it is because they don't understand these concepts anymore. These are lost ancient concepts that have been forgotten, long time forgotten. Because of that, they don't understand what they are translating. But the Quran translators do the exact same thing as well. It's just not exclusive to Christianity and Judaism. But the word used in Hebrew is hogeg. You see, the current Jews pronounce it as chogeg, but it's basically hogeg. Now, if you convert ge to G, because remember, Jews, Hebrews, Israelites lived in Egypt, and Egyptians pronounced je as ge. So in reality, this is hojej. So hojej or hajej means is a primitive root. Again, it comes from circling, marching, observing. But what it means is basically hojaj. If you look at the dictionary, and I forgot to do a screenshot of that, but it's the same. You can look at it yourself. It basically means those performing Hajj, those who are performing Hajj or Hajj, which is basically means pilgrims. So these are pilgrims. So so that you are aware of that. And the 42:6 again, Eretz, from the land of Yarden or Jordan. They pronounce the Yarden in Arabic. We pronounce it as Ordon, so which is very close to Yarden. They use this Ordon. It's the same. So as you can see, let me just go back to the Psalm. So as you can see, it was a very well-known tradition at the time of the Prophet David. Allah has put it in the book of Psalm for us, so our hearts can rest assured. If we truly believe in Allah, our hearts in our Creator, again, it doesn't matter what your religion is, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. If you truly believe in Allah, in your Creator, in Yahweh, in Elohim, if you truly believe in Him, it's 100%. You should have no doubt where the true Bakkah, where the true Mecca, house of Allah is. It was in the land of the Edomites, who were the Israelites' brothers, and it's in current day Jordan. It's known as Petra. Unfortunately, enemies of Allah, these Islamic sects, that's what is known today of Islamic sect, these are the people whose Allah is Akbar. They don't worship the same God. They don't worship the God of the Quran or the God of the Bible. Remember, these worship the devil. These are devil worshippers unknowingly. They don't know it. Nobody worships the devil on purpose. Nobody does that. They unknowingly worship the devil. They're servants of the devil. Remember, their Allah is Akbar. Akbar is the Allah. Quran makes it very clear who Akbar is. So these people, these devil worshippers, these sons of Iblis, sons of Lucifer, they disbelieved after the Prophet, and they destroyed the true Masjid al-Haram. They destroyed the true city of Kadesh. Imagine how wicked these people are, and where their fathers, and they obviously, these people are following on their footsteps of their fathers, but this is how wicked they were. Nobody destroyed Bakkah. Nobody destroyed Petra. Look at the history. Romans came in and went and left it in peace. Persian armies came in and left it in peace. The Greek came in and left it in peace. Everybody left that place in peace, except for these Muslims. those who call themselves Muslims. These are sons of the devil, these Sunnis. Basically, these are Sunni Muslims. So these are the people that were credited. Imagine how wicked one generation has to be, how wicked a group of people have to be chosen by the creator of this universe to be the ones who destroyed the house of the Lord. Allah allows them to destroy the house of the Lord. How wicked they should be to have this honor. Remember, Persians, Romans, Greeks, all of these people came in there and left it in peace, except for these people. They destroyed it. They destroyed the forbidden months. They ruined the calendar. So these are wicked, wicked. So when you see them, when you look at all this wickedness that they create in the world, all the corruption, what they do to women, forcing women to wear hijab, and cutting people's hands, cutting people's heads. There's so much stupidity. It's like Satan has inserted, unfortunately, lack of understanding into their brains. And in 2024, look how they are acting in Afghanistan, or the way, even in all Muslim countries, most of them you see, unfortunately. This is why these are worshippers of the devil, and they managed to destroy this. But no, don't worry. It was all this happened with Allah's permission. These things are going to change. We are in an era. It's a transitory era. Things are going to change. Petra is going to be reestablished. I don't know when. It's going to be reestablished. It's going to become the holy sanctuary at the end times, during huge wars that will happen in future. And Allah and His angels are going to defend it. And that a temple of idolatry and disbelief that they have in what is known today in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, that's where they worship the stones. They worship Safa stone, Marwa stone. They worship Allat. They have this other stone that they worship. They call it Maqam Ibrahim. They have all of their idols, a collection of ancient idols that the Sunnis and the Shia mushrikeen and associators and worshippers of Akbar, those whose Allah is Akbar, they gather together to commit idolatry. That is going to be gone. So the truth that benefits people will stay on earth. Peace and blessings to all of you.